Okay, well, good Thursday night, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is September 14th, 2023, 10:20 p.m., and week two of the NFL has been started. I can't believe how quick it's going. Right now in Philadelphia, the defending NFC champions are leading the Minnesota Vikings 27-14 with about 5:53 to go in the third quarter. Philly looking to go up 2-0, and Minnesota hoping not to go to 0-2. So where do we start? It's been a whirlwind since Monday about 8:30. Between, like I said in my video earlier in the week, the um, the 9/11, the game, the pregame, the hype for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers going down. The Jets coming back. The punt return in overtime, the Garrett Wilson catch, the doink off the left upright going through. It's just been a crazy, crazy week one. Of course, Tuesday it was official with the MRI that Aaron Rodgers will be missing the rest of the season. He's out for the year with a torn Achilles tendon. I believe it's his left leg. So we bring that to today. And I've been listening to sports talk. I mean, probably since before Aaron Rodgers came here this year, every day waiting to see what we were going to do. And then, of course, once Aaron got signed and Kurt McAfee show and then got here and whatnot, it's been an everyday occurrence. Listening to them and listening to different shows and whatnot. And, of course, this week you knew what the story was going to be, but you wanted to listen, you want to hear perspective from everybody. 90% of the people on the radio calling in as Jet fans are saying, why not us? Why not Zach Wilson? He learned under Aaron Rodgers in camp. Listen, I hope that's true. I'm trying to be realistic, but the point right here is this team was built, free agents were brought in around Aaron Rodgers on the offense. So, you know what? Why not Zach Wilson is his third year? Listen, he was a number 2 pick overall. It should be, he steps in, we shouldn't have any issues about him. There was a point last year where the Jets were, I think 5-3 at one point, or seven and something, and they had rolled off 5 wins in a row, and then you had those miserable games in New England and whatnot. But right now, I'm rallying around Zach Wilson. I'm going to go my inner Dick Vermeil, where they're going to rally around Kurt Warner. This team will not give up, and it's been said by the coaches as well. But sticking with the sports talk, so New York has 3 shows mainstream every day on each of the sports channels. So the morning show, I listen to one channel. The morning show, basically it's and I'll give this to Boomer Esiason. He was, you could see, very emotional, very touched on Tuesday morning, saying he was sick about it. Just, I guess, being in that position, knowing what it's like to be injured, the hype and everything, and then 4 plays in. Then you had other people on the show saying, you have to call Cooper Rush, Dallas, make him an offer. You got to go maybe make a trade for Kirk Cousins. Maybe take, Wentz. Maybe go up to, and it was just all these things. And basically, Coach came out and said, the starting quarterback we are riding is Zach Wilson. And the coach said all the right things. Now, I'm just going to leave it at that for now. And you go into each show, and it's like each show has a Giant fan or a Jet fan or even a Dallas fan or whatever. And it's almost like the Jet fans on the show, the actual, radio talk show hosts, are saying, we can still make the playoffs. We can still salvage this season, which is fine. To go from Super Bowl contenders in Vegas, in the papers, in some of the experts, to making these playoffs would be, content with that is a big step down. And we took a big step down in the quarterback position. The best case scenario, and this was the argument going back and forth today, was you don't need Aaron Rodgers anymore. Best case scenario, Zach Wilson comes out there and he manages his team and he balls and he gets this team to where it has to go. We did it with Sanchez in '09 and 10. We grounded and pounded the heck out of the ball. We had a good defense, not as good as this defense, okay? And we had good receivers. And we had the running backs. In '09 we had Thomas Jones and Sean Green. And in 10 we had Sean Green and LaDainian Tomlinson. So we have that structure here. The one thing that's I don't see right now, it's, because personalities are different, is Rex had that team's emotions and had the fans' emotions going. He had them believing. Now, I don't know, the team seemed to be believing through Hard Knocks and through One Jets Drive, and through, everything you saw with them and post-game and whatnot. And I'm hoping that Saleh can coach this team. And that's what I'm going to get back to Saleh. So with the radio, it's either the season's over or why not us? We could still make the playoffs. And listen, once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And I'm not trying to diss anybody, but you can get into the playoffs at 8-8, 7-9, 9-7, and make a run in the past. This year you have, of course, last 2 seasons we have 17 games. I had the Jets going 12-5. I had them winning last Monday night, and they won. So hopefully I stay right on track. Getting back to what was going on today. So I'm listening to it, and the two hosts are going back and forth, and this is the midday show. And all of a sudden, he gets a text, and I'm going to mention names. Brandon Tierney, who I really like. When I call him, I enjoy speaking to him. I spoke to him on Wednesday. I spoke to him rather, I believe. Tuesday and Wednesday. I was live on the radio, and like I said, Brandon comes from Brooklyn. We know some of the same people. We went to high school at the same time. We're the same age, obviously, since we went to high school at the same time. And Brandon says he hasn't received a text from somebody very reliable within the Jets. Now, I don't know if it was a worker within the building. I don't know if it was just a source. But he said that the text said, everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers and if he's coming back and whatnot. And Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson were going through the playbook yesterday. He called it breaking news. He tweeted it. I retweeted it. It was all over Facebook. He broke this news. Okay. You fast forward a little bit, and I come home and I check Twitter, and Connor Hughes, who is a beat reporter for the Jets, he also does, I think he does SNY, and he says Aaron Rodgers is not in the building, and he did not go through the playbook with Zach Wilson. So, is somebody messing with BT? Is somebody messing with Connor Hughes? What have you? In between all this, last night there was an Instagram post, and the timing is just it makes you scratch your head because the cryptic message. So that Aaron Rodgers puts a thank you out and maybe almost like an apology to the fans and to the team, and it ends off with something like he will rise again. All right, he's coming back. He's not going to go out like this. I don't think he would ever retire like this. Most winning players do not go out on an injury unless it's probably life-threatening. You had Testaverde in '99. He came back the next year. He played the entire season. Lawrence Taylor bled his Achilles. He came back. Dan Marino came back. So it's you can come back. It is usually a year of rehabilitation and healing. So okay, so he's going to come back. Was he talking to Zach? Was he not talking to Zach? Zach Wilson said that he did speak to Aaron Rodgers, didn't say when, and just told him he loved him and that he wished him well, and that's all he got into. About 3 hours ago, I get a text from both of my daughters separately. They're in two separate rooms upstairs. I'm downstairs, and I'm watching the Thursday night game, and it's a picture of Aaron Rodgers in a gown and a surgical hat, and he says, surgery went well. Thank you to the doctors for repairing my Achilles tendon. Rehab starts right away, you know. And this was sent today, but the surgery was done yesterday, they said. It was done on Wednesday. And Connor Hughes also confirmed that it was done yesterday. So I don't know where BT got his information. If it's even correct, right now it doesn't seem like it was correct because he wouldn't be on the phone with Zach Wilson if he was going for surgery yesterday. But from Aaron Rodgers' Instagram account, and I went on his official Instagram account to make sure, and then, like I said, Twitter picked it up right away, and my daughter actually confirmed it because I was like, I don't think that's that's not supposed to be him. He had a 2-week window to check out his own doctors, and no, he had it done. So Aaron Rodgers had his Achilles tendon repaired yesterday, which means he's right back at it. Listen, I'm not saying this guy's going to come back if we make a run, but I think this guy will be back next year. Come April, I think he'll do his jogging and his workouts. Training camp will be ready, and then he's good to go opening day. But Mike, it was said on the radio today, maybe you don't want him. Maybe everything happens for a reason. This was so good. Zach Wilson just takes over, and you don't need him. Listen, there'll be worse problems than do we keep Zach Wilson next year or do we take Aaron Rodgers back for a year? If you tell me Zach Wilson puts us on a magical ride. Going back to Coach Saleh, who said we're not going to go after anybody. They brought up Doyle from the practice squad. Now, Doyle was Aaron Rodgers' backup. He does know the system. He will be the backup to Zach Wilson on Sunday in Dallas. Coach is saying the right things. Here is where the difference is from last year to this year. And I'm not talking with Zach. You got to hope that Zach as a quarterback has progressed and will be better. His preseason looked good, but he was going against 2s and 3s at one point. Even when we played the ones, he didn't play the true ones. Okay? If Zach needs to be benched for any reason, God forbid of an injury, but for any reason, and Doyle comes in and Doyle lights it up, you cannot have the revolt that you had last year with Mike White. You can't have players wearing Mike White t-shirts, okay, walking, into the stadium. You can't have, the players just shunning who their quarterback. Zach Wilson was supposed to be their quarterback last year. Second year going, number 2 pick the year before, supposed to be his year to step up, and you can't have that they abandon him. And you can't have the coach allow this to abandon him. And that's where the coach needs to step up and keep control of his team and of his locker room. Now, looking at the team this year compared to last year, okay? Garrett Wilson, all right, and Breece Hall were your offensive weapons. You really didn't have a veteran leader there. So this is what you have this year. You have your Cobb. You have your Delvin Cook. You have your Lazard. Okay? They need to make sure, and you have Garrett Wilson in the second year, that they get into this kid's head and make sure that he knows, hey, it's my guy, I'm the guy. I'm not going to look over my shoulder, and see Doyle warming up. I'm not going to read the paper on Monday or Saturday when they play Friday, or Friday when they play Thursday, or Sunday, or whatever it is. They're calling for me. I'm not going to walk out of the tunnel at MetLife, okay, and then when I throw an incomplete pass, it's going to be chanted for Doyle. Can't have it. You live and you die with this guy, okay? Because right now, everybody's writing this team off. Everybody's writing this team off. And yes, you wanted the expectations to be high, like Rex said, and I said it, in the preseason. You want expectations to be high. But right now, nobody's taking us for granted. I mean, nobody's taking us seriously. They're taking us for granted. Okay? Keep your heads poised. Play the defense you've been playing. Play the special teams you've been playing. Okay? And you put together a game plan that is, and I'm just watching the game in the background, um, and you put together a game plan that suits Zach Wilson's um, style, his positives, um, and fits into what he could do. Make him comfortable out there. Okay. There are a few times on Monday night he was scrambling for his life and then threw the ball out of bounds. All right, I'll take the ball out of bounds, but try to find an open receiver if you see that open receiver. But don't force it. Secondly, falling down, he made a few passes also that he hit. You know, he got a little lucky. But two things. I think the defense played extremely well. If they continue to play like this, they are a top 5, maybe a top 3 defense. Okay. And this is not a game where Sauce didn't even play that well. Okay, that's number one. Number two, okay, you have Brees Hall, Delvin Cook, and Michael Carter. You keep feeding them the ball, keep feeding them the rock, keep that clock moving. Okay, ball control, time of possession is where you want to be. And then lastly, like I said, I remember Sanchez at 09 had the wristband. Green, red, and yellow, okay? Green were those easy plays. You're going to go with them. Yellow was mediocre, and the red plays were, high alert. If you could only make these plays if you could. If you have to spoon feed the kid and it works, you spoon feed the kid. Whatever works for you. Okay, whatever works for you. So you had a lot of that, and then you had a Packer fan calling up and saying that it's just the Jets and the Jets' nature. Then you had a Giants fan calling up, and he said to BT, "Oh, you said the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl, and now you want to keep betting." I mean, it was just you're kicking a man while he's down. It's I guess it's a competitive edge in sports. The one thing that kind of turned me off today, and it just made me laugh. So Greg Kelly used to be a morning news show host. He used to do Good Day New York, and he was a staple. His father was the police commissioner in New York City. I believe he took off after Bernard Kerrick left and went to jail. But I liked him a lot. I liked Greg Kelly a lot. Then he had some issues while on the show. He had to take a leave of absence, and supposedly he came back and it was fine. And then he left the show again. And now he came back a couple of years back. I think he's on Newsmax. And listen, anybody knows me, I'm not a political person. I could talk sports and religion all day long, quote TV shows. But right now, everything on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it is political. And I saw a tweet today where he said on Newsmax that Aaron Rodgers was injured because he didn't believe in God. And I'm just going to say this, and I'm not going to tell you who I vote for, who I don't vote for, okay? I don't have a political party. I vote for the candidate I think is the best. I don't know what party, party would be, but I look at both candidates every time there's an election. I'll just say Democrat or Republican, Republican or Democrat. But he is a Republican, and he stands for freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all the amendments and whatnot, but is stating that this man who chooses whatever religion he chooses or doesn't choose to believe in a certain God or any God was injured because of that. And I just have to, scratch my head like, how do you have these jobs? And then I'll go even further. Another guy from WFAN tweets last night. So Woody Johnson tweeted a picture of Aaron Rodgers running out of the tunnel with the American flag and said, "Your story is not over. Our story is not over." And the the radio analyst, who is a Giants fan, has been killing the Jets the whole time, said, "Oh, it looks like it's Woody Johnson kissing his ass to have him back here." So I replied, well, he said he'd come back anyway. Why is he kissing his ass? And he goes, "Oh, season tickets." And I was like, well, season tickets for this year already bought. So if you're talking about next year, I'm sure people are going to renew anyway. But it's just the stupidity that's out there. So that's what we've been going on with, through this last 4 days. But this is the story right now. Aaron Rodgers ruptured his Achilles tendon. He had it surgically repaired yesterday. Look, he's 1 day into recovery. That's the way you have to look at it. Zach Wilson had his first 2 practices with the ones this week. Okay, they probably fly out tomorrow or early Saturday to Dallas. They have a 4:25. I believe they are 9-point underdogs, if I'm not mistaken. So actually, I just checked. They are 9.5-point underdogs. So last week I picked 4 teams. I picked 4 games. I went 3-1. Now I want to tell you, I was in 2 knockout pools, okay, and a pick'em pool, all right, and a fantasy football league that I'm a commissioner of. Got knocked out of both knockout pools. Okay, I picked Minnesota. Minnesota lost. The other game I picked Jacksonville. Okay, but I never submitted the pick. It was electronically. The pick'em, I won 9 out of 15 games or 16 games. Okay, I couldn't do anything. Fantasy, I was getting blasted. I played a guy who had the Jet defense, and he beat me by 4 points. So the Jet defense was the difference in that game. Okay? Trying to think what else. So it really, then you have the Aaron Rodgers thing and all that. So I really did not do well in any of my things, but I went 3-1 in my picks. I had the Ravens giving 10 to the Texans. They covered. I had Washington getting 7 from Arizona. Okay, Washington won outright. I think they'll get the 7. I don't know if they'll give it. Denver was giving 3.5 to Las Vegas. Denver won outright. I picked. Excuse me. Hold on. I think I may have gotten this wrong. I'm sorry. Denver did not win outright. The Raiders went outright, so I lost that game. Then I had Buffalo giving the Jets 2.5. I picked the Jets, and the Jets won. So I went 3-1. So here are my picks this week. Seattle goes to Detroit. Detroit is giving 1.5 to Seattle. Listen, Geno Smith had a great season last year, but Detroit is on a mission. They played extremely well Thursday night. They won by 1 point. Yes, Travis Kelce wasn't there. No, I don't believe we put an asterisk in the game. But I think Detroit is going to be a tough team in the NFC Central, or if they as they used to call it, the Norris division. I think Detroit might even win that division. I think they win this game, given the 1.5. The San Francisco going to LA to play the Rams. Rams are not the team that they were just 2 years ago after winning the Super Bowl. San Fran's given 7 points, and I think they're gonna beat up on them. Brock Purdy came back, and he just took off. Washington going to Denver. Denver giving 3.5 points. Listen, I'm not a Russell Wilson fan. Sean Payton annoyed me with that whole thing with Nathaniel Hackett and the Jets and all that. But I think Denver wins at home, giving the 3.5 to Washington. Miami goes to New England. New England, yes, they battled back last week and fell short. New England's second game at home, they got 2 home games in a row. I don't understand that. Miami and Tua and Tyreek Hill and all that were on fire last week. And I think their offense is just going to outplay the New England defense, and Mac Jones is not going to have enough snaps to even catch up to them. Miami given 3 points. New England, Miami covers. And Miami wins outright. Okay? All the teams that I'm giving the points, I'm taking them to win outright, even with the points. And then you have the Jets getting 9.5. Listen, Dallas beat the Giants 40-0. 40-0. Can that happen this week? Oh my God, I am so nervous about that happening this week. Dallas is licking their chops because they're going to stack the box and force Zach Wilson to pass, and that's what you have to do. If Michael Carter and Devin Cook and Brees Hall, who had 80-something yards, like I think in the first half last week, is going to be forced to beat you, and they don't beat you, then you have to have Zach Wilson beat them. I'm going to take the 9.5 points because I think it's going to be an extremely close game. And you know what? I'm going to say the Jets win the game. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to say the Jet defense goes and beats Dak Prescott and gets the win. So that's where we are. If you're going out to Dallas, I know BT and Gotham City crew and all them, I think I headed out to Dallas. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Have a good time. Again, if you have any video, any pictures, any stories from Monday night, 9/11 stories, inside the game, inside the stadium. I mean, I've been on YouTube and on TikTok, and the point of view for Garrett Wilson's touchdown catch, which was spectacular, and Xavier Gibson's punt return, the point of view fan reactions, and the play call, the radio broadcast calls and TV calling gives me chills. It really does. So, like I said, if you have any footage, we'd love to see it. You can email us at thejets.takeoff@gmail.com. You could message me on Twitter at the Jets Takeoff is our Twitter handle. Also look for our tweets. I was going to do a video today anyway, and as soon as I saw that either today or usually I do it Friday morning, depending on how tired I am. But because Aaron Rodgers had the surgery tonight, or this yesterday, and it was released today, I wanted to do this today. You can reach us on Facebook. The Facebook page is The Takeoff. Of course, we're on TikTok now. It's the New York Jets Takeoff, the Jets Takeoff on TikTok. And you'll see us here on YouTube like you're watching us. The account name is The Takeoff. The channel is The Jets Takeoff. Reach out to us. Like our videos, dislike our videos. Tell us what you think of the videos. And that's about it. So have a great rest of your week. Tomorrow's Friday. Have a great weekend, a great rest of the week, a safe weekend, a healthy weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a blessed day, a blessed week, whatever you call it. And let's get this win. And, let's go into Sunday and let's hope that we get this win. And that's what all it is right now. The confidence level. And listen, the confidence level before the game Monday with Aaron Rodgers, before he got hurt, I was nervous about the game. And the reason why I was nervous was Aaron Rodgers, with all the hype coming out, and we lose that game with Aaron Rodgers playing the entire game, and it's almost like, all right, we still can't compete with the big boys. When Rodgers went down, the expectations dropped. And it was funny because I kept looking at my daughters, and we usually do not leave the games early. This happened to be the first week of school. One daughter's going to school early. The other one had school in the afternoon. I had work the next day. And I kept saying, if the Jets don't get on the board here, let's start making our way out. And then down by 6 or down by 7, I was like, we got it. There's no way you can leave this game. Even when we're down by 10, I'm like, it's just a couple of plays and we're there. And that's what happened. If we could keep close with Dallas, this defense, this special teams can do something. So that's it. Hopefully I'm right with my picks again. I'll take just one pick being right, and you know what pick that is. But again, thanks for watching. This is The Takeoff. It's great to be back. Yes, a little bittersweet this week with the Aaron Rodgers news, but you know what? With his 2 last Instagram posts, from ashes I shall rise again, I think was the quote yesterday, and then the tweet today and the Instagram post today of him thanking the doctors for the surgery and the repair of the Achilles tendon makes me feel a little better. So good night, God bless, talk to you soon.